Today I'm driving out to the back part of the woods where I want to look at what I have for trees back there and see what I can do to enhance the bedding cover to help hold deer into the woods. I have what I consider two parts to the woods. I have the main part and then I have a back section of woods that's rarely used for anything. You can see the trail goes to the left and the right here, and I want to go to the right towards the back part of the woods. There are some orange fence posts along the way because I don't own the entire woods. Part of the woods is owned by somebody else, so there's orange fence posts to mark the area. You can see there's lots of deer tracks along the way. Wherever I make a new trail at in the woods, the deer seem to follow it and feel very comfortable walking the trails. I have to head back out into a thicket area where the does like to bed down, and there's even some bug scrapes, but I'm not confident that this area holds the deer, and it's kind of close to the house, so I want to create something farther back. Where the trail tees off here, the left part goes out to a field, and then we go into a thicker part of the woods here. I'm going to pan over that part of the woods, and this is the back section of woods that I was talking about that is very rarely used for anything. I have one little trail that runs through it so I can access it for firewood, but I don't come back here very often at all. And here the trail turns to the left, and everything that's on the right side of the trail is pretty much undisturbed here. So everything on the north side of the trail is unused unless a tree comes down or I find a dead tree that I want to cut for firewood. And to the west and to the north, it's all ag field. And then all of this standing timber is unused. So I want to see what I can do to help make the deer feel more comfortable in this area and create a nice bedding area. So today I'm going to go through and mark several trees that I want to try to hinge cut to create some thick bedding cover for the deer. I'm going to go through with some orange spray paint and mark the trees that I think would be good to come down. And as I'm doing this, I didn't realize how many small growth maples and how many small growth beech trees I have back here. So I'm going to mark these trees, and I'm going to look specifically for trees that maybe are split like this one or bent and warped. I'm going to look for those kinds of trees to cut so that the good looking straight growing trees will have a better chance of survival, while at the same time opening up the canopy a little bit to help bring in some good sunlight, because that sunlight is going to help grow more saplings and more underbrush that'll make the deer feel more comfortable in this area. Anything that's already dead, I'm going to try to bring down, because the dead standing timber might be in the way and causes hazards as I go through and I cut. So let's mark those off. And then I'm going to walk through this whole area. It's maybe 2 acres in size, and I'm just going to mark everything that I think would make good cover, and where I have the lines at is kind of the direction I want it to fall. So if I mark this side of the tree, I want to cut that side of the tree and fall it in the direction opposite of the spray paint. This was a harder choice to make than what I expected, because a lot of these trees look good and healthy, and I really hate cutting down good healthy trees. I heat with firewood, so as a standard I only cut trees that are dead. I don't cut green wood. So this is totally different concept for me, but I know that getting these trees down will really help with the habitat improvement. Deer will like to bed here, turkeys will nest in this, and overall it's going to just thicken things up good for the wildlife. And I've got to keep in mind it's not a huge chunk of the property, so even if what I'm trying to do fails, it's not going to really disturb the part of the woods much that I use a lot, and it's not going to disturb the part of the woods that I actually like to hunt in. I'm trying to plan this out so that I have 3 main areas where I cut the trees. I want 3 good bedding areas. I don't want the whole back half of this woods to be unpassable, because if the deer don't feel safe moving through it, they're not going to come in here anyways. They have to have an entrance and escape so that if they get spooked, they have somewhere to run. And as I'm going through, I found this tree that I was going to cut, but look at, somebody years ago carved a great big heart on this tree. The bottom initials are CW for Court Wolpert. I can't read what the top says, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to work on figuring that part out. So that tree I'm going to leave, because that's a really neat part of this history for our family farm. In all, I probably marked around 50 or 60 trees here. It doesn't look like a whole lot, but once I got done going through, there was a whole lot of orange out here in the woods, and tomorrow I'm going to come out and start cutting.